Every year, Americans eat more than 2 billion pounds of bacon. That's about 18 pounds a year per person. The bacon industry turned into a corporate playground where marketing budgets take precedence over meat quality while we were busy enjoying our bacon for morning. Yet businesses found that they could charge more for the privilege of eating poorer bacon, slap premium labels on subpar pig, and pump their products full of water and sodium. Today, we will unveil the 4 bacon brands that are truly worth your money while simultaneously exposing the 5 bacon catastrophes that are concealed in your grocery store. Because your breakfast deserves better than corporate cost-cutting under the pretext of tradition, and life is too short for bad bacon. LTs start with the antagonists of pork belly. Since 1920, Sugardale has sold processed meats and established a solid reputation as the cost-effective option for working-class households. They sell their bacon in those unique value packs that shout, "Feed your family for less," and use wholesome farm imagery that conveys quality without breaking the bank. In reality, they are offering you bacon that has been developed to maximize profit extraction. To make their bacon heavier, Sugardale pumps it full of sodium phosphates and water. When you cook it, injected water pours out, and you're practically paying bacon costs for it. The appearance of the thick cut is pure theatrical. You're left with shriveled strips that don't resemble the box photographs when the water evaporates. Sugardale came in dead last in Chowhound's extensive examination of 12 different brands of bacon. Although the bacon was advertised as having thick-cut slices and good fat marbling, testers found that it had no discernible smoked flavor. The act of smoking is hurried and manufactured. They create that generic bacon flavor that tastes like chemicals trying to pass for pig by using liquid smoke flavoring rather than real wood smoking. Before you've even had coffee, the sodium concentration reaches 270 milligrams per 2-slice portion, or 12% of your daily limit. The lack of authentic flavor development that results from appropriate curing and smoking is being concealed by the use of salt as a crutch. Sugardale is taking advantage of budget-conscious families by passing off water-injected pig slices as bacon. To make you forget that you're receiving less real bacon for your money than premium brands, they're relying on low costs and bulk packaging. As a response to high-end store brands, Kroger introduced their Private Selection line in the 1980s, marketing it as upscale cuisine for discriminating consumers. This bacon has all the high-end buzzwords: center cut, hardwood smoked, artisan grade, and it's made to make you feel smart for picking store brands over national ones. Pure manipulation is what the center cut marketing is. Kroger gets rid of the bacon bits that offer the most flavor and texture contrast by trimming off the fatty belly ends. For less bacon that tastes like less bacon, you're paying top dollar. The best bits have been actually removed, and you have been charged more for the pleasure. The method of smoking hardwood is absurd. Insiders in the food industry know that most store-brand bacon is quickly smoked for look, and then its flavor is derived from liquid smoke and artificial seasoning. Hours are used to estimate the actual smoking duration, rather than the number of days needed for true flavor development. This bacon doesn't have any wow factor that would make it worth picking above less expensive options, according to Chowhound's taste test standards, which focus on texture, taste, and value. There are no significant flaws. However, the flavor profile is characterized as mediocre meets cheap. Kroger is engaging in a traditional private label scam where they use upscale packaging and premium positioning to offer you subpar bacon at exorbitant prices. Their premium store brand is made by the same co-packers using less expensive ingredients. But they're betting you'll think it's somehow superior to national names. In 1993, Walmart's Great Value brand was introduced as part of their aggressive pricing plan to dominate every category. Their bacone's a perfect example of how America's food quality has been ruined by a race to the bottom mindset. It is designed to be as inexpensive as possible without sacrificing its appetizing quality. The smoked hickory claim is the pinnacle of business drama. To simulate traditional smoking, the bacon is briefly exposed to hickory-flavored smoke before being pumped full of liquid smoke, sodium nitrite, and natural flavoring. Instead of taking days for true flavor development, the real smoking process takes hours. What seems like praise until you realize that's the most enthusiastic thing anyone can say about it. The takeout review described it as an all-around good general-purpose pick. You've set the bar rather low when your selling point is won't actively ruin your breakfast. Especially heinous is the water injection. In order to boost weight and prolong shelf life, Walmart suppliers saturate this bacon with sodium phosphate solution. All of the injected water spills out when it cooks, leaving you with shrunken strips swimming in their own synthetic fluids. Walmart is taking advantage of consumers who are price-conscious by charging bacon-flavored water at bacon costs. They have perfected the art of making goods that aren't good enough to win over customers but are good enough to prevent returns. In 1982, Hormel launched Black Label bacon as their premium range, establishing it as the elegant option for bacon lovers. While their marketing highlights decades of meat processing skill and dedication to perfection, the black packaging conveys quality and history. In reality, what you're receiving is a masterclass in how heritage brands devalue their products while abusing their reputation. Because of rigorous processing and chemical treatment, which eliminates the natural texture of properly cured pork, the bacon has what Bon Appetit politely refers to as harsh texture. The act of smoking is hurried in manufacture. Hormel speeds up manufacturing by combining liquid smoke flavoring with high heat smoking, as opposed to the slow cold smoking that produces nuanced taste. As a result, any ain't pork flavors are overpowered by the harsh, one-dimensional smoke flavor of the bacon. The amount of sodium is enormous. Salt is being used as a crutch to cover up the absence of true taste development. Several taste tests reveal that this bacon is so overly salty that it is nearly unpalatable without other items to counterbalance it. Hormel is engaging in the classic corporate sin of trading on decades-long brand familiarity while methodically undermining the reputation that earned it. They are placing a wager that you will be distracted from the reality that their present product is a shell of its former glory by the familiar packaging and sentimental connections. Since 1893, Oscar Mayer has been the most well-known processed meat brand in America. Their business was founded on the memorable jingle and the assurance of high quality that parents could rely on. The ultimate betrayal is their 12-hour natural wood-smoked bacon, which uses sentimental brand devotion to charge exorbitant rates for subpar goods. The 12-hour smoking claim is nothing more than deceptive advertising. Although it sounds azing, the real procedure is high-heat smoking, which puts speed ahead of taste development. Complex flavors are developed through days of cold smoking in traditional bacon cooking. Oscar Mayer's 12-hour method is comparable to the French press and instant coffee. Oscar Mayer routinely receives the lowest rating in Food & Wine's extensive taste test because to its uneven texture and insufficient smoke flavor. Unpredictable cooking results are caused by the bacon's forceful water input and inadequate fat distribution. While some sections remain flabby, others burn. The corporate chemistry experiment, sodium nitrite, sodium phosphate, sodium erythorbate, sugar, and natural flavor are all disclosed in the ingredient list. Instead of spending money on appropriate curing and smoking methods, they are employing chemicals to produce artificial bacon flavor. In order to sell bacon that would otherwise be pricey at half the price, Oscar Mayer is taking use of parental trust and childhood nostalgia. They may continue to lower quality while keeping premium price, since they have estimated that most buyers won't compare their present product to better alternatives. This goes beyond just bad bacon. It is a violation of all that the Oscar Mayer name once stood for. There are still some busnesses that recognize that bacon should taste like bacon. If you want to learn more about the true pork belly champions and are sick of these bacon imposters, click the subscribe button. Applegate began with a bold concept in 1987. What if processed meats weren't destined to be forgotten? Their bacon is a total denial of the industrial meat processing that has ruined the quality of bacon. Instead of using sodium nitrite for curing, they utilize celery powder. It comes from farms that uphold true animal care standards and don't employ water injections to manipulate weight. The pigs used to produce the pork were not given growth hormones, antibiotics, or confined feeding practices, which can cause stress to the animals and lower the quality of their meat. Without the artificial aftertastes that afflict traditional bacon, you can taste the difference. A cleaner, more genuine pork flavor. Applegate routinely receives excellent marks in Sporket's evaluation of natural and organic bacon selections because it fulfills its clean label claims without compromising flavor. Instead of using salt and soak flavoring, the celery powder curing method produces bacon that genuinely tastes like pig, but it is more expensive and time-consuming than chemical alternatives. They're not engaging in the typical corporate bait-and-switch tactic, which turns organic language into useless marketing jargon. The list of ingredients in Applegate is surprisingly concise. Pork, water, sea salt, sealer powder, no artificial flavors or phosphates, and no chemistry lab is needed. It has a great texture. Without the rubbery chewiness that characterizes bacon processed with chemicals, the bacon crisps up properly. Although the cost of each passet is more than that of industrial equivalents, you are receiving real bacon prepared with real ingredients for $7 to $8. Applegate demonstrates that some businesses still place a higher value on ingredients than profit margins, and that eating clean doesn't have to mean compromising flavor. Operating out of Vernon, Texas, Wright Brand has been family-owned since 1922. Their basic tenet is to manufacture bacon the way it should be made, even if it takes longer and costs more. Their hickory smoking method seats unique flavor profiles that are impossible to achieve with industrial shortcuts by applying real wood smoke over long periods of time. Word-of-mouth recommendations led home cooks to Wright's, which is regularly rated as the best bacon for everyday cooking in all recipes surveyed by real home cooks. The thick-cut slices are thin enough to cook evenly and thick enough to have a robust texture, making them the ideal thickness for cooking at home. This method of smoking hickory-s authentic. Instead of using hurried high-heat methods or liquid smoke flavoring, Wright's employs real hickory wood in traditional smokehouses. Because the smoking process takes days rather than hours, the smoke has time to infiltrate the flesh and generate nuanced tastes that enhance rather than overpower the pig. What distinguishes Wright's is tier knowledge of the authentic bacon-making process. The consistency is amazing. The fat renders cleanly without making oily messes, and the slices cook flat rather than curling up like potato chips. Each bundle yields consistent, dependable outcomes. The business won't employ phosphize or inject water to manipulate weight. You receive what you see, real bacon weight, not exorbitant costs for water that is injected and then evaporates when cooking. The Wright Brand demonstrates that quality pork, appropriate smoking, ethical business procedures, and a focus on the basics continue to outperform cost-cutting measures and marketing gimmicks. Smithfield's Applewood smoking method embodies all the best aspects of making bacon. They employ applewood for a more delicate, refined flavor profile that accentuates rather than overpowers the inherent pig flavor, as opposed to the aggressive hickory smoking that rules the market. According to Food & Wine's extensive tasting test, it had unquestionable umami, with exceptional snap and sharpness that lingered. Compared to traditional ways, smoking applewood takes a lot longer. Although it takes longer to add flavor and burns colder, the benefits outweigh the costs. The pork's inherent richness is complemented by layers of intricacy rather than harsh, one-dimensional smoke flavor. Thin enough to cook evenly without burning or remaining raw, and thick enough to add significant texture and taste, the bacon is sliced to the ideal thickness for reliable cooking. To guarantee correct rendering and flavor balance, the fat-to-meat ratio is meticulously regulated. The water injection trick that most commercial bacon uses is not what Smithfield is doing. Instead of paying exorbitant amounts for water that evaporates during cooking, you pay for the real weight of the bacon. The list of ingredients is clear and uncluttered. No chemistry experiments, no artificia, smoke flavoring, no excessive phosphates. Regardless of the cooking method used, the texture remains consistently superb. The bacon renders nicely in the oven, keeps its shape without shrinking too much, and fries up beautifully in a skillet. The flavor of the pork comes through, the smoke flavor is present but well-balanced. Anyone who desires restaurant-caliber outcomes at home will find this bacon to be incredibly valuable at a fair price. This bacon will give your breakfast guests the impression that you've mastered some secret cooking method when, in reality, you've merely purchased superior bacon. Smithfield Applewood demonstrates that BS Sinuses may produce goods that truly win over customers through exceptional performance, by investing in quality ingredients and appropriate smoking methods, rather than marketing resources and cost-cutting measures. Since 1959, Farmland has been subtly refining bacon while going unnoticed as more ostentatious brands take center stage in marketing. Their naturally hickory smoked classic cut, which is sold at Walmart, Meijer, and Food Lion, embodies all that is admirable about honest, approachable bacon production. No upscale marketing or ostentatious packing, just consistently good bacon at affordable rates. Farmland stands out because to their proficiency with the thin slice format, which other businesses totally fail at. Thin slice bacon is actually more difficult to make correctly, even though thick-cut bacon receives all the attention. To prevent the burnt fat catastrophes that beset most low-cost choices, it necessitates careful smoking and exact chopping. Without the burnt fat issue that marred less expensive bacon, Farmland's small slices fry to a remarkable crispiness. Their smoking technique is the key. Instead of burning on the outside while remaining raw in the center, they employ real hickory wood smoking, which totally penetrates the thin slices and produces bacon that crisps evenly from edge to edge. For such a low-cost choice, the flavor profile is impressive. Rich, salty umami that tastes more like good ham than ordinary bacon. It is appropriately seasoned without the ovis of salt that cheap brands employ to cover up lower quality pork, and each two-slice serving has 260 mg of sodium. Farmland isn't using the typical low-cost bacon shortcuts. No infusion of water to increase weight, no shortcuts using liquid smoke to increase output, no artificial taste to cover up subpar pork. They know that consumers on a tight budget still need real bacon, not a bacon-flavored letdown. It's remarkably consistent. Every package prouses consistent, dependable results, which is uncommon in the low-cost bacon market, where cost-cutting sometimes takes precedence over quality control. This bacon gives a pleasing bacon flavor with no unpleasant surprises, cooks predictably, and crisps consistently. Farmland demonstrates that when businesses concentrate on executing the fundamentals correctly, rather than pursuing marketing gimmicks and profit margin maximization, great bacon doesn't require premium pricing. Businesses that value pork and those that take advantage of your breakfast are at odds in the bacon aisle. To support you, select bacon producers who use high-quality pork, appropriate smoking methods, and ethical business procedures. Steer clear of corporate crooks who are trying to sell you water-injected disappointment under the pretext of tradition. Chemically enhanced pork strips that taste like artificial smoke and salt are not the kind of breakfast you deserve. Demand real bacon and give the person who delivers it a reward. For more food rankings that resolve arguments you never realized you needed resolved, please leave a comment below and remember to like and subscribe. Thank you so much.